therapist for yourself?
So in this supervision session, we're talking about therapists having therapists.
It may be time as you work through that like, oh, maybe I need to go talk to somebody. Not saying that you can't do it on your own, because I do a lot of my work on my own, because I realized whenever I had a therapist, I was just talking out loud, basically, and doing the work myself while they sat there and listened. And so I can do that at home and not, pay somebody for that. But just being open to going to therapy as a therapist, it's hard to actually find therapy. Like for me, it's hard to find a therapist as a therapist, because I want somebody like me, and there's not a lot of people like me. And so having to weed through therapists to find me, it's hard.
Here we're getting into a discussion about what it's like to work with a therapist as a therapist, and also when we are a therapist and we're seeing a therapist, how we can sometimes be critical or do a lot of critiquing of the techniques that they use.
Like, why are you focusing on this theory? Like, why are you so hard pushing this technique?
In this section here, the associate is giving a little bit more information about their experience with therapy, looking at how they have run into cases where they may have had a therapist and now the therapist is now booked out for months, or they have tried other therapists and have run into issues in terms of scheduling and double booking and just a little bit of unprofessionalism. And so we kind of discuss that, go back and forth about what it looks like to be a client trying to find a therapist.
Yeah, that it happens a lot. It happens very often, and it's often a story that I hear from clients when they are like coming in new, because I always ask like what their previous experience was, because I want to know, do I do things that they don't like? And if I already know ahead of time that like, oh, I do that, so you're not going to like me, or I don't do that, so you're not going to like me, then I like to let them know, like, I'm not that person if this is what you're looking for. But you hear it a lot where it's like, oh, they didn't follow through, or they kept rescheduling appointments and things like that. She should have known prior to 5-10 minutes before her appointment that she was double booked. It happens to me sometimes, but it's just because I have my calendar open on another platform, and so I can put an appointment on my schedule, but it takes time for it to sync with the other one that's no longer available. So I can be putting an appointment on and somebody else can be scheduling at the same time. But usually I catch that, that same day. And it's like, oh, hold on, let me reach out to them and move them around. And so it's not like right before the session where it's like, oh, by the way, you need to move your time. And it's like, well, I can't move my time.
We're now wrapping up the discussion, just kind of talking about how, as therapists, there are things that we can do by ourselves. We can process a lot of things by ourselves, but some of the techniques that we use within therapy is very beneficial to have somebody else be able to guide us through that versus trying to do it on our own. So this is just a little sneak peek into what supervision sessions can look like. There are a variety of different conversations that we may have embedded into other discussions. And so you never know what's going to come up, what we're going to talk about. And for me, it's very much, what does my associate need from me today?